Hi, Kevin Tharp here. This video is a reference for the case study part 1, site setup in HTML. You should have looked at the planning documents for the case studies that give you a bit of information about their planning documents for the case study, and some of the elements of this document are pulled from that, but look at that document before you proceed with the case study. Once you've done that, then you're ready to start doing the site setup, which is the first section. Now I'll be demonstrating the site setup in this case in Dreamweaver and in Aptana Studio 3. The principles are the same no matter what software you're using. The interface is going to be different. So you can take what you're learning in here and you can apply it to whatever software you are using. So the first image that we have here is showing you what the navigation architecture for the case studies are going to be. There's going to be a home page, there's going to be an about the garden page, projects page that links to projects on the seed library, composting, and the food pantry, and then there's going to be a join page. So we're going to have to create the directory structure and the files to do that through the various steps of this case study. The next thing that you see here is a diagram. It's a wireframe diagram that shows you just the outline of what the different parts of the pages are going to be, and what this is outlining is the parts that are going to be identical for the parts of the structure that are going to be identical for all of the pages. So there's going to obviously be a body tag because it's a required element in HTML. Then there's a header section. Inside the header section there's the navigation section, and then once you leave the header we have a main content section, and then below that we have a footer section. So those elements will be identical on all of the pages. So we're going to use today to set up that HTML structure. But first we need to go ahead and do the directory structure. You should have already set up your website for this class so that you have inside the root folder for your class website, you should have a folder called exercises and then a folder called case studies. We're going to be working inside this folder called case studies while we're working with the case studies that we're looking at here, and that folder in this case is represented by the /. So in this case, because we're only in here talking about the case studies, the root directory for your case studies is this folder right here. And so inside of that case studies we're going to need to create a folder called CSS, we're going to need to create a folder called images, and we are going to need to create a folder called projects. Now in Dreamweaver the way that I would do that is I would come into the case studies folder, I would right click, I would choose new folder, and I'm going to go ahead and put CSS. Now you'll notice I don't put the /s there because that's not necessary at this point. The / means that it is a folder. So I'm going to go ahead and accept the CSS there. I'm going to make another new folder, and I'm going to call that images. And then the third one that I'm going to create is called projects. The process is identical in Aptana Studio 3. I simply come on, right click, choose new folder, and you'll see that the case study is highlighted, so it's going to come underneath there. I'll do the CSS, images, and projects. Notice that I am using all lowercase letters and I'm not putting any extra characters in there. One that often causes problems is people get in the habit of putting an extra space at the end after they finish typing a word. That will cause you a great deal of grief. It will cause FTP errors that prevent you from being able to upload your files via FTP. So make sure you don't leave that hanging space at the end there. So now we've got the directory structure as it's indicated here. We have the root folders, which is case studies, we have CSS, we have images, and we have projects. CSS, images, and projects.